What's up, Stripe Nation? Blake Albertson here with B&B Lawn Care. We're at the Green Industry Hype House here. I recorded an epic podcast with AJ. He runs a $10 million business. There's so much information in it, but there's no video. But I have great sound. That's what you're going to listen to here. I hope you guys enjoy.
Get ready for another episode of the B&B Lawn Care Podcast, a show that helps you stay positive, overcome challenges in your business, and most importantly, help you make more money in your lawn and landscaping business. Here's your host, Blake Albertson.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you are doing well today. I am Blake Albertson, your host, joined here with AJ Brenzel. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is.
With Brex Enterprises.
Guys?
We just met here at the Hype House 2022. Quick little shout out to L'Entrepreneur Academy for sponsoring the house, the Hardscape Academy. Super awesome. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great content coming out of this weekend.
You guys do like $10 million a year in your business.
Yeah, give or take. I mean, it just depends on the year, but it's right around that.
Turf Titan has created a new kind of lawn care guaranteed to make your lawn awesome. Turf Titan's lawn and garden nutrients are made in the USA, using premium natural ingredients without the nasty stuff, making sure your yard is safe for everyone, including your pets. Whether you're looking to replace your traditional fertilizing program or want a little more envy from your next door neighbors, Turf Titan has you covered. This stuff works. Our products are backed by over 30 years of research and results. To learn more about Turf Titan, visit turftitanbrands.com. May the best lawn win. Excellent. All right, AJ. What do you do? Like this? Because you hear that number and it's just in lawn care, that is just in any business, but from where I'm at in business, that just seems like a crazy out of this world business. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I would say primarily we're a pipeline service contractor. We work in the tri-state area, which is, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Ohio. And primarily what we do is we provide pipeline clients, companies such as Shell, everybody knows Shell, Enterprise, Mark West, really big corporations. We provide them with services to make sure that their pipelines stay in service. They're feeding the world with energy. Some of the services that we do, kind of more relating to the mowing, world. We do provide a service for right-of-way mowing for pipelines. On a high year, we'll do probably about 1,100 miles of pipeline.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's really one of our niche things we kind of hone in on. We use tracks, skid loaders, and we have brush hogs and the other implements we put on the front of them, for tackling those challenges.
Is it just like super high weeds or?
Yeah. I mean, the government is has a agency that tracks all the right-of-ways across this country, and all those pipelines are required to maintain them over the lifespan of the pipeline.
Do you guys have to do any trimming?
Yeah, tree trimming, side trimming, a lot of clearing. We do. We don't specifically do too much spraying, but that is it. All goes. It's basically just lawn care on a mega scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big time spraying. Yeah.
So and then what's the other side of the business that you were saying?
So the other side of the business, as far as pipeline goes, is we do a lot of landslide repairs. So basically, a hillside gives way, we repair it, put it back, and we also do. It's called longwall mine support. The best way to understand it is the coal mine is, say 1,000 feet below the ground. They tunnel under the ground to extract the coal, and then as they remove the coal, they collapse the mine roof behind it. So everything that is above that coal mine settles, like all the ground settles with the coal mine. And what we do is we expose the pipelines from beginning of the coal mine to the end of the coal mine to ensure that the pipeline doesn't incur any damage, as the settling is happening. Because, obviously everybody knows. Well, I guess everybody doesn't know. It's really dangerous.
Is it because of the ground settling? Is that why it's dangerous?
Yeah, as the ground's settling, it could, put strain on the pipe and cause it to shear and break in half or whatever.
So what happens then?
If it breaks, it's basically like an atomic bomb. That's the best way to put it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. Our guys are, they're super skilled. We excavate these lines. They're running full pressure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they don't slow them down.
So like literally, if it punctures or
that's it. Yeah, that's
dang.
it.
I guess I didn't. I don't know. I didn't realize that.
You think 1,500 psi? If you put an ethane into the air, it's basically an atomic bomb. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah. Is it Brex Enterprises on Instagram?
Yeah. It's Brex Enterprise on Instagram. We have a TikTok also, Brex Enterprises.
Yeah, and you can see on there, so basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have to excavate above, all of the ground. How much ground would you say you have to excavate above the pipes?
It varies, but it's anywhere from 6 feet to 15 feet of material on top of the lines that we have to remove off, and then when the mine comes through, the ground beneath the pipeline settles away, and we support the pipelines as that's happening. And then once all the settlement happens, we backfill it all and put it all back, reclaim it. Nobody ever knows we were there.
Do you have to seed on it or anything?
Oh yeah, we seed probably. I don't even know what the acreage will be, but it's a lot. I could tell you we used 8,000 small bales of straw this year just for our seeding.
So how do you stay in contact with the coal mine? While you guys are working simultaneously. So
there's a service that we use. It gives us daily updates. Well, actually, I think it's weekly updates on the location of the mine, and it's like a constant communication channel that we work with there. And then the other thing is, after we excavate the lines, they're called strain gauges on the pipe, which measures the amount of strain that the pipe is under when we start the job. So that gives us our zero reading, right? And then as the mine is going through, those gauges are continuously monitoring the strain that's on that pipe. So we know there's too much movement. We need to support this. And it goes through satellite. So it goes to our offices and tells us, hey, we need to get out there and do something about this. So
how fast is that miner going?
It depends. Sometimes it's only, couple feet a day. Sometimes they might do 50 to 100 feet a day.
So it's pretty slow though. But it takes a lot for you guys to get all of that dirt, right?
A lot of times it'll take us, 2 months, 3 months just to uncover the pipe.
How much distance is that?
5,000 to 7,000 feet.
Wow. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, there might be 30 to 40,000 yards of material that we take off.
I heard a crazy number last night about your insurance per year. You have to have crazy insurance for this, right?
Yeah. Our insurance is it's pretty intense. Between our workers' comp and our liability insurance, it's about $350,000 a year. That
is absolutely crazy. And how many employees do you have?
At any given time, I'd say about 35 to 50. Right now we're running about 35. This is our slow time of the year. We're actually trying to reinvent ourselves a little bit, to become more stable. So we're hoping to get to about the 50 range and stay there.
Yeah. And I was asking, when we first started meeting, I was asking, oh, what do you do and what equipment? Everybody started laughing. What equipment do you have? And everybody in the room started laughing. I'm like, what? I don't know what's so funny. And they're like, he has more. He doesn't even know the equipment he has.
Honestly, sadly, sometimes you kind of don't. We roll through equipment, pretty often. And, our tracking, we know our numbers. We do know that. But sometimes, and this is the problem you have as a small company too. This isn't just a big company problem. It just gets exponentially worse when you get to a big company, right? I was telling Caleb Alban last night, and he was talking about this. Like, there was a time last year we actually lost a track skid loader. We didn't know where it was at, and he's like, man, I don't know how's that even happen. I'm like, you guys lose shovels all the time, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, man, when you have a lot of them, then, you just lose track. Like, you send it to this job, and, that's why, tracking your stuff, just keeping a good, good log on your database and your inventory is so key in any company. It doesn't matter what size it is. You can be $100 million company, and it's still the same things. The problems just grow bigger,
Yeah. So do you have is there a program out there for what you guys do, or a business of this size?
Believe it or not, this is probably one thing here that's going to really blow you away, and probably blow a lot of your listeners away. Until about a month ago, I ran everything off Excel sheets.
Really?
Yes, I did.
Is that the number sales?
My bidding. So we had QuickBooks as far as like the accounting,
Sure,
and stuff went. But like as far as my bidding and estimating went, it was an Excel sheet.
Yeah,
100%. Like I had a couple Excel sheets that worked together, but the communication channels don't work when you have Excel sheets.
Yeah.
So we did update to a new software. It's called Heavy Job. It's more focused towards the civil contractors. That's actually another thing we also do too. We have a civil side of the company.
And what does that mean?
That's like development work, heavy earth.
Okay. Like a neighborhood development, or
yeah. I mean, it can be a neighborhood development. It could be pads for, say, like a warehouse.
Okay.
Like the new Amazon warehouses or something like that. We have some really large pieces too that we use for that. But that's kind of a newer venture we have going right now.
And you said that like most contracts or jobs that you guys are on are like pretty long compared to like what we're doing, which is like 20 minutes, right? Like,
yeah.
How long are they?
I mean, it really depends. I mean, I think our shortest ones are probably a month. That's like really short for us. Our longest ones are like 18 months, 2 years.
So how do you go out and estimate for that?
Same way you guys do.
It seems just insane.
I mean, it's just, you have to break it down. It's all compartmentalized. You know what I mean? You just have to break it down into, small aspects of the job. This part of the job is, like you guys are taking the small aspects out of the job, and that's your whole job, right? I take all those small jobs and put them together, and it's just, that's all it is. It really doesn't change too terribly much. It's just the scale you're doing it at. Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to put it.
Have you ever had like a 18-month job go way over, and then what happens?
And so until last year was the first year that I had a job that actually went not good. I actually had a job last year that went about $200,000 to $300,000 over budget. So that one was not ideal. But yeah, I mean, you have that. It's just, I can't really stress this enough. When you go from, say, a $100,000 contractor, when you lose $2,000, it's a big deal, right? You lost $2,000. That's 2% of your gross.
Yep.
Well, for us, that just changes to, $200,000.
Right.
And it just gets incremental. But yeah, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, man. You're going to learn. It's what you do with your mistakes, after that, moving forward, that, change you. That's what makes you a successful company.
Right.
Successful companies don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
They learn pretty quick.
So are you happy with the size business you are? Is it too big? Is it not big enough? Or it's kind of a loaded question. Which seems crazy. Is it not, like, I'm just saying, are you going to keep going, or is it?
I'm a firm believer, if you're not growing, you're dying or innovating. And that could be personally, that can be That can be in business. So I want to make my business the best that it possibly can be. So if that means it's $100 million business, that means it's $100 million business. If that means it's a $10 million business and we're just going to keep on improving our bottom line, then hell yeah, that's what I'm doing. I mean, I would rather do, honestly, to me, improving doesn't necessarily mean doing a bigger gross. Nobody cares about what you're bringing in first. It's what you get to take home at the end, right?
Right. Yep.
I mean, that's the real story. So if I can do $5 million and keep, $500,000,
right,
versus $10 million and keeping $500,000,
yeah, I'm
gonna do $5 million.
Right.
So I think that's probably my bigger focus now is being more efficient, and innovative to better make the company better, and improve our culture. Make the guys want to be there, because when you do that, the company's going to grow at the rate that it wants to grow. It just kind of becomes naturally. And then at that point, if we end up at a $100 million company, it's going to be through a natural process. We're not forcing it. And I think that's how any company should grow. You don't need to force it. Do you have to take some risks sometimes? Like, yeah, I mean, that's the game, man.
Yep.
If you're not, but when you take the risk, you need to calculate it. We were talking last night in the live show. That's when you need to calculate in your profit margin should be higher.
Right.
If you're putting your neck out on the line, you probably shouldn't be operating at a 15% profit margin. You maybe make it 30 or 40. I mean, 40 seems crazy.
Yeah.
But hey, you missed that little, 10% of the job that you just didn't know about because you really don't know that much about what you're trying to do.
Right.
Well, you need to make that profit margin match that. And then when you learn, that's how you grow. And that's kind of how we did it originally. But, that can still bite you in the ass. I mean, that's the best way to put it.
And you've been doing it for 9 years?
Yeah.
And what was how'd you start, and what was how do you grow that quickly? Because that's over $1 million a year of growth, right?
Yeah. I mean, there was points we were growing, doubly.
Yeah.
Every year. So we would go from 3 to 6.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome, but it was also, everybody always says there's a healthy growth.
Yeah.
We were not in the healthy stage. I mean, I can just be honest with you. We weren't. I was kind of operating on the motto of the yes man. So and your client calls you, hey, you think you could do this? I'm like, yep.
Yep.
And then, and shortly thereafter, we would do it. And it worked. It did work. And I'm not, I don't want to say that, I regret it, but it put the company and my life through more stress than it had to. It really did. It made it tougher on me. Which if we could have done it slower, because when one door opens and closes, there will be another door. It might be a smaller door, but it's a door.
Yeah.
Right. As long as you keep a positive attitude and keep working on it, and surrounding yourself with the right people, there's going to be a door. I'm a firm believer in that. That doesn't, I've proved that. So I would say, yeah, it wasn't healthy. I wouldn't do it again that way. I don't regret it, but at the same time, I've learned from it, and now, like I said, our biggest focus is to grow naturally, and sometimes you'll have to rent a lot more equipment. You have to say, not only am I going to raise my profit margin, I'm going to use rental rates for 90% of the job. And if it prices you out, then, oh well, but if it doesn't, and you're still doing well, then that's that natural growth you can go with and support. You'll know. When your stress level starts getting to the point, there was a good point in my life, I'd say about 3-4 years ago, where I would work all day. I would go home with my kids, put them to bed at 8:00, and I'd come back and go to the office until 3 a.m.
Wow. And
that happened over and over and over, and that was not good for you.
And what was that working on?
It was just the company was growing so fast. Like I always say, you're feeding the beast.
Yeah.
You know, and I have a really big beast.
Yeah.
I mean, when, you know, it used to be, and sometimes I miss this. I really do. Sometimes I miss, you know, getting that $500,000 job, and I'm like, yes, man, that was a big win, right? When now I get a $500,000 job, I'm like, all right, where's the next 6 of them? Because that's what I need. Like, that's just how it is. It's a beast, you know, and it just grows, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like any other business. It's 9 times out of 10, stress from growth was brought on by oneself. That's almost, I mean, it really is. That's the tale of almost all the businesses that have that stress. And then the other thing is, you know, you start to take too much risk, then you're the next guy that's out, right?
Yep.
You know, so it's a chess match. It really is. It's a complete chess match.
Yeah. So with like your bigger jobs and these, like, is it a known thing, or am I just so in my industry that I didn't know this was a business? Like, how do you go after and get these jobs? Because I feel like it's not like like for us, it's like, oh, do a Google My Business and a website and people call you.
Yeah.
Is it the same, or is it just a totally different way of selling?
So it is somewhat the same. All right. But it's a lot of it's, you know, you just build a reputation, you know, that you can do it, right? It's just that word of mouth, and a lot of you guys use the same thing. Your clients go to somebody down the street and like, hey, these guys did a really great job on my yard or on my landscaping, or, you know, on this patio. It was beautiful, right? My clients do the same exact thing. I mean, it is to a T the same. We're just spending more dollars,
Right.
you know. And then we have some more work that's government contract work, and like, I'll be quite honest with you, that's the crapshoot of, you know, whoever's the lowest dollar.
Is it really?
Oh my gosh, it's a nightmare. Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, sometimes when we talk profit margins, you know, I don't think people realize this in heavy highway work and government work. A lot of times, profit margins, if they're more than 7%, that's good.
Is it just because a lot of people are going after it and they're just picking the bottom guy?
Yeah, I mean, it pushes it down, and, you know, you in the big heavy earth work, in the work that we do, you make money through innovation. You don't necessarily make it in your bid at the beginning.
And what is that?
So,
tell me about that.
So, just for an example, if we're bidding a project, there may be 10,000 tons of 57 stone. Okay. If I can find a place, or I know a property in this area where I can process this shot rock that somebody else wants to get rid of, or there's crushed concrete or something like that, where I can process it and I can get it for, say, $2 to $3 a ton, and then just have to do delivery, I can save that $9 a ton that it would have cost me to buy it from the quarry. So that's $90,000. That's where we make money.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we don't necessarily make money at the upfront bid. You have to figure out where the innovations are in the job that I can say, hey, I can cut this right here. I can you know, really pound this home, and then you know, I'm always looking for, you know, commodities. You know, like we just did a job in my house. Actually, it was at my farm, and I had I'd say about 8,000 to 9,000 yards of topsoil. To me, that's like gold, because not only I have this giant pile of topsoil, I can use that, you know, for retopsoil and slopes. You know, projects that didn't have topsoil, you have to import it in, and at that point, I may pay, you know, $35 for a ton, right? You like deliver from my landscape yard. Well, I have 7 to 8,000 yards sitting in my farm, and that's kind of the stuff you have to look for.
Yeah. And this is kind of a shot in the dark, but like for lawn care businesses, like, have you seen anything that you're like, hey, people could do this? And
for sure. This is one thing that I don't know. I mean, there's the big green initiative, right? And there's, you know, between composting, I mean, that's a big dollar per volume. I mean, if you have a yard, you have the equipment there, you have the material, you have the grass. A lot of times you're taking the grass out, so you have the compost, you have the leaves. You start composting, that stuff can really start pushing some high rates for gardeners, whatever, stuff like that. Biochar. I don't know if you know much about biochar. That's one other thing. It's kind of a little pet hobby of mine. That's like tree trimmings. They basically they burn it and then reburn the smoke in it, and it becomes like a what's the best way to put it? You can run water through it, and it cleans water.
Like a filter.
Like it's a filter system, more or less.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's honestly, I think for lawn care people, the greener you can be, and you can start you're taking a waste that's a cost to you and start turning it into a profit center. If you could take your waste and turn it into a profit center, to me, that's 100% profit. And that's kind of stuff with any company you can look at and you can say, all right, how can I be different than the next guy? You guys are all really innovative as far as your trucks go and everything else. I mean, honestly, I usually look at all you guys' trucks. I'm like, man, that is sweet. That is so cool, because you guys are working with a much smaller, fleet. So you're trying to get the most out of your fleet that you can possibly get.
Yep.
For me, it's we have a big fleet, and I lose sight of that stuff, right? Where you guys don't. I mean, it's just so cool to see how you guys can do stuff like that. But I think a lot of the times landscapers look for the small thing, but when the big thing is glaring at them, like all this waste, you do nothing with it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, you're all looking for where can I save the dollar?
Right.
Where you can save the couple $100, you're tripping over the pennies you're tripping over the dollars to pick up the pennies.
Right. Right.
And I see that happening a lot, especially smaller guys. Just because you just don't even realize it. You have to think outside the box.
Yeah.
I mean, you really do.
Yeah, and you were telling us a story last night. You made you had a problem in your business. Something was taking too much time, and you modified a bucket.
I could tell you real quick. It was
okay.
It's a cool story.
I didn't even know it was a state secret or something. I didn't want to tell it.
No. It's I mean, I have a utility patent if that means anything.
There you go. All right.
But either way, so when you dig up a utility line, you have to have the tolerance zone that you can't dig around, right? With mechanical equipment, they can't take an excavator and dig right next to a water line, right? So on our long wall projects, that tolerance zone, we used to have to totally hand dig that area out, and it is 18 inches plus half the diameter of the pipe. Well, some of our pipes are 30 inches in diameter.
Yep.
So that's 33 inches of material the whole way around that pipe that we had to dig off by hand. So what we used to have to do, dig that, literally completely by hand, and I had 10 laborers in the ditch at all times. 10.
Wow. Is that under 2?
Just the whole way down the sides to the bottom.
Okay.
So the pipe could move completely side to side, free of any obstructions.
My gosh.
So, I mean, it was we'd have 10 laborers there, and if we got 50 feet in the day, that was a really good day. And
they're dog tired.
Yeah, I mean, it was grueling work. Grueling work. And, it just wasn't ideal. And I just kept thinking, there has to be something better, right? There's something better than this. And so what I did was honestly kind of fell into it, and, long story on another day. I figured out that a rubber tire from a haul truck was rigid enough that it could actually dig material, but if you put it on to a pipe or any kind of utility, it didn't actually hurt it. So what we started doing was the original one. We've definitely evolved from this, but the original one, I literally took a quick coupler from an excavator and I bolted a haul truck tire to it. And I said, all right, now try to dig. And shortly thereafter, the rubber material or the composite material actually acts as like a squeegee, and we just set it right on top of the pipe, pull it, and it just falls right off. And it's perfect.
Dang.
And I have one labor in the ditch now, and then we probably I'd say on average we probably dig about 180 feet a day.
So you just upped your production and took 9 people
Like
away from
3.5
having
times.
to, huh?
We upped our production like 3.5 times.
Oh my gosh. And you don't have to have those 9 people digging.
Yeah, it was basically,
hand.
so you had, just for quick numbers, if you did, $40 an hour cost rate on 10 people, and you worked 10 hours, that's $4,000 a day, plus we did, 3 times the amount of work.
Yeah.
It was that's the kind of stuff that, and honestly, that's what made us, that is the type of thing that's made us successful.
And even drag that out further, however long you were digging that project, $4,000 a day times however many days. We got Sean Spencer dancing in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we were even talking yesterday, like, with a company your size, it affects all of us, even if you have one truck going out and the price of gas goes up. But, when you have, what was that machine last night, that excavator or skid?
It's a 750 excavator. It burns about 300 gallons a day.
Oh, my God.
So, if our price of fuel goes up 10 cents, that's $30 just in that machine.
Yeah.
And in that machine's crew, we burn I'd say about 2,000 a day.
Yep.
2,000 to 2,500. If it's 10 cents, that's $250 a day. Yep. And if then you extract that over, the jobs, a lot of our jobs are, like I said, 6 months.
Yeah.
That's $250 times 20, which is, 6,000. Do that over 6 months. That's $36,000 over the job.
Just for little 10 cents, it could go up like that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, but it's all incremental, right?
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it really is. I mean, as a lawn care provider, you still have to look at the same things.
Yep.
I mean, it really does. I mean, it's no different. It's cutting straight out of your bottom line. I mean, if you can secure rates on your fuels and, and plan for that, I mean, you can kill it.
Yeah. So with like around 50 employees, like, what's the business setup? Is there an office? Is there like a facility? I don't know.
Yeah. So, basically what we have is, we have our field personnel, you'll have everybody from laborers to operators, then we have field foremen, and then, we have a site, then we'll have project managers at times, where like one guy's in between that and the superintendent. And then we have our back office, which consists of an office manager, safety manager, like an HR director and safety manager. Alicia does all of our accounting with our head accountant, and then I do all of our estimating. And sometimes we'll have another estimator comes in and helps do takeoffs and stuff. And then we have a trucking coordinator, just because we have our own trucking, we have our own maintenance. So we honestly we're very sufficient. Yeah, we don't need anything really from the outside. And honestly, a lot of the times when we start to build services for ourselves, we offer them to everybody else. So when we started trucking, I started hauling for other clients too. So I mean, our trucks, when they're not running for us or running for somebody else, they're constantly turning.
Is that because most of the equipment's just on a job site for so long? It doesn't need to be.
I mean, we need it at times, but a lot of times we don't. So we just have really evolved the company to, to make sure we have the closest thing to 100% utilization as we can, and that has really started to help the company, the bottom line, because, otherwise it's just overhead that comes off the jobs. And we do it even as far as our mechanics. If we will work on our own equipment, why wouldn't we work on somebody else's?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have the infrastructure. We have a yard that we keep all the equipment at. And then we also have some other companies, some, I would say, sister companies and like partner companies that, so we buy so much E&S material and pipe and stuff. So we actually started our own pipe and E&S supply.
Yeah.
So we sell it to the public.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, pretty much anything like that, we have that opportunity, take it, go,
Yeah. We're going to wrap up here quickly, but I did want to go back to 9 years ago, like first off, did you have this vision, and how did you get started? Like, how did you jump into it?
So before I had the company, I was considered, it's actually a core, but it was like basically like a spread boss. I had multiple crews that worked under me. I was a contractor, like a self-contractor. I was managing projects for pipelines, and I got tired of traveling, and I came home and I told my wife I'm quitting, and I'm going to start doing like retaining walls and patios, and hell, I had to cut grass at the time. I didn't care. And I went and bought a little mini excavator and a little dump truck, and that was what I was going to do. And a couple of the pipeline clients that I'd worked with, I built a really good rapport with them. They trusted me, and they knew that I would get the job done. They came to me and they said, "Hey, AJ, we want you to go do this other job." And I honestly, it was crazy. And I remember, like, I won't forget this, like, ever in my life. I said, "Yeah, that sounds great, but yeah, no thanks." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I started my own thing," and they're like, "Well, what's it gonna take to get you to come out and help us? We want you to do it. Like, you can do this." And long story short, and it started. I hired people, and we were doing it in house.
Wow.
And that's kind of what was like the start of it, and then it kind of snowballed from that. If you do a good job, especially like with the way we work, one person's working at this company and they're just, say a technician, but they're really good at their job. Sometimes they can't move up. So what do? They move out, right? So they would move out to another company and they were moving up. Well, when they moved out and up, we moved with them. So I just kind of built my network through like that. I just said, this guy was working here, and he called me up. "Hey, AJ, we come up and help us out too." So that's what we were doing. We were just following wherever my network went.
What did you do your first year?
The first year, I helped. We did a little bit of clearing, like a clearing project, and then it was actually, this is funny, but we were going along fixing road markers along the road. They have they almost look like pipes with candy cane tops on them. I don't know if you ever seen that before. They're like 3-inch pieces of steel pipe.
Okay.
They're vent pipes.
I think so. Yeah.
They come off of the pipelines. That's the vents in case the pipeline was to come apart in the bottom. It's like a release point.
Okay.
I went and fixed those all year. That was my job.
And what kind of money did you make that first year? Just to put it in perspective,
it was about
motivator.
I think it was $170,000.
Yeah.
Either $170,000. I think the second year might have been it. I think it was $170,000. I think I did $300,000 the next year, and then it went to like $1 million.
So it took you about 3 years to do $1 million?
Yeah.
Wow. And 6 years to get to 10. That's 6
that
more years to get to 10.
Yeah. Well, actually, the last two. So yeah, it was about 6.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's insane. Well, is there any other, like, anything that you tell guys, like, to find the sweet spot? Because, we're not all going to have a $10 million company. So, how do we find, should we focus on profit, happiness? I mean,
focus on an overall, on not only your profit. If you're going to be happy and you're going to be healthy, you do have to have a profit. You can't run at a deficit and remain happy. I can promise you it's not going to happen.
Right.
So that's the first thing. You focus on in my scenario, I have a family, so like kind of, your situation is going to change. If you're younger right now, focus on the profit and the profit foremost. I have a family, so I focus on my family first. That's a big measure in my life. I can make less profit and have more family time, and I'm cool. That's cool with me. That is profit in itself. So you have to measure your profit in different ways.
That's a good point.
Measure your profit not only on your fiscal sheet, but you need to measure your profit in your family life, and then also in your faith life. And your health. Your health's a big one, man. I mean, if you don't remain healthy, then you're not going to make it too far. High performers tend to be also fairly high. high performers are high performers on everything.
Right.
It's not just in business.
Yep.
Because, if you let your health flag, it's going to catch you up.
And, if your health's behind and you can't do certain things, what's the point of anything else?
Yeah, you're done. That's it. But yeah, so I mean, for me, there's a lot of there's a lot of measurements that I look at. That it's not just what I focus on. It's definitely not the gross. I can promise you that. I mean, we can talk about $10 million all you want, but if you guys can do $1 million or even 500,000 and you can keep 300,
yeah,
hell yeah, you're savages. That's how you got to look at it. It's what you take home. What you take home, and then you have to go to the next measure of, how are people going to remember you? Are you a good person?
That's killer.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, AJ.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Brex Enterprises on Instagram?
Yep.
Anywhere else? Oh, TikTok.
TikTok, yeah. My wife, my wife is the social media person. I'm more the, anybody can reach out to me. I'm the Dancing Dirt Man on Instagram. Well, that's another long story in itself, but yeah, I mean, if anybody had anything they wanted to reach out and say, hey, I have questions about this, reach out. I mean, I really am passionate about trying to help people. So
that's killer. Well, I appreciate you coming on here. Huge shout out to Turf Titan for sponsoring this episode. Huge shout out to the hardscapeacademy.com, launchpreneuracademy.com. Check them out. This has been killer. So I appreciate the information, man.
Yep.
Take it easy.
Man. Thank you. Catch you later.
Thank you for listening to the B&B Lawn Care Podcast. We hope you got some golden nuggets that you can implement into your lawn and landscaping business. If you enjoyed today's show, be sure and leave us a 5-star review. Connect with us on all social media platforms by searching at BB Lawn Care KC. Keep grinding, keep striping, and stay positive out there, friends.